Hi, what's up, y'all? What's poppin'? What's cracking? It's D. About to react to this impressive edit. It's titled Doechii is copying Nicki Minaj's rap style. Coco Jones gets mixed reviews over her risque song taste. Oh, okay. This came out a while ago. I never reacted to it. Somebody was like, "Hey, you never watched this video? Can you react to it?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" Yeah. So we're gonna see what Impressive has to say about this. I recently reacted to a couple of Doechii songs on my Patreon. She's gonna refer to this Nosebleed song, I'm pretty sure, or maybe she's gonna. No, she ain't talking about anxiety because that was recorded years ago. Also, just recently reacted to that. So check it out. And I know I've been covering Doechii quite a bit because she's a hot topic, at the moment. And people are asking me to react to it, so that's what we're going to do. But yeah, I want to hear what Impressive has to say about Doechii copying Nicki. Let's watch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Impressive channel. I want to get into this whole discussion about Doechii being compared to Nicki Minaj. Now, recently, she did drop this song with the K-pop artist named Jenny called Extra L. And a lot of people noticed that Doechii sounds an awful like Nicki Minaj. Now, I've been saying that Doechii reminds me of Nicki, and she does sometimes remind me of Doja Cat, and she reminds me a lot of Azalea Banks. In fact, I think Doechii is going to be what Azalea Banks should have been, to be honest. But Doechii does remind me of various artists, and yes, she has her own style, but she does take reference.
Well, I know Azalea is sick, okay? She like, this should have been me.
This from different artists, and Nicki Minaj seems to be the artist that she takes some pretty noticeable references from her sound effects to her cadence to her flow, sometimes even her lyrics. And there are some fans who pointed it out. In fact, there was a reel that kind of compared Doechii's rap style to Nicki's rap style on certain songs like Roger That, Roman Holiday, Bottoms Up. You kind of see the similarities when you put Nicki's rap style side by side with Doechii's rap style. And Nicki's fan base did point it out, but they did face opposition from other people who support Doechii. One person said, whenever there's another successful female rapper, you want to compare them to Nicki. Give it a break. We need a new storyline. The way they do this when there's a new rising female rapper, we are tired. Doechii is a true student of hip-hop.
I mean, I don't think it's odd to point out something that you see. If you're doing it in a negative way, just to talk shit, that's one thing. But some people just genuinely point it out because they have ears. And they're just, pointing out that, oh, okay, this sounds kind of like this or that. And it's not in a malicious way. There's nothing wrong with her being inspired by Nicki. Everybody's inspired by Nicki. Like, what's new? So I don't think there's an issue in just pointing out the fucking obvious. So when people get mad at it, like, why you getting mad at a fact? I mean, she does sound like her at times. But, I think she does, make her sound her own. But she's inspired by several people. And Nicki is obviously one of them. Like, you can hear it if you have ears. I don't understand why people are, I'm tired of the comparisons. People are going to make comparisons. That's what people do. That's what people do. We make comparisons with literally everything. So I don't think there's an issue with pointing that out unless you're being negative, like I said, and being like, oh, she trying to be Nicki and you will never be. If you're doing that, then it's like, girl, bye. But if you're just pointing out that, oh, this kind of sounds like this or that. But, but if they making compilations, then that might be negative. So that's probably what they're responding to, the negativity.
Rap and is inspired by multiple great artists.
And look, this person said, I really like Doechii, but girl. So yeah, some people are being negative. So I can see people being annoyed with the negativity because it's like, let her shine and let her have her moment. Don't be negative about it, but there's nothing wrong with pointing out the obvious because it's obvious. What are we talking about?
Another reason why she is the talented artist that she is. If you plan to be great at something, you're going to study it, and that's what she does.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more of an anti-bar, but I do hear the similarities. Like, if Nicki had actual lyricism, substance, and fresh creativity, but she don't. So Doechii took them nachos and turned them into a burrito. I know that's right. That tweet makes me...
I wouldn't trust nobody who has a username called Coochie Cologne. I don't want to hear nothing you talking about, personally.
No sense at all. This other person said, now they're saying Doechii is copying Nicki. It ain't wrong though, but it's the industry, bro. Nothing new. And that's true. I mean, there's nothing really new under the sun. Every new artist who comes out is going to be compared to somebody. It happens.
Nicki took inspiration from Lil Kim and they compared her to her all the time. Like, it happens with everybody. People are always comparing artists to others. And people act like, oh, it's just with women. Like, no, people do this with men all the time as well. I just reacted to Playboy Cardi's album and was talking about the inspiration that he's gotten from Future and Travis and Lil Uzi. Like, people are going to hear the similarities. They're going to hear who you're inspired by and they're going to point it out.
To Nicki too. When she first came out, she was compared to Lil Kim.
Hello.
And now fast forward today, you see a lot of different female rappers who come out and they're being compared to Nicki Minaj. And the reason for this is because Nicki has been the most dominant female rapper in this generation. So it's absolutely impossible for her to not have some influence on this new generation of female rappers because she has literally laid down the pink print for
I think it's so interesting because now she is the blueprint or pink print, if you will. When she got so much inspiration from Lil Kim, but Lil Kim has been like kind of knocked out. And eventually Nicki Minaj is going to get knocked out to where, a dominant female rapper is going to pretty much take her place, if you will. They might not accomplish as much as she has. That's a whole other conversation, but they'll be kind of like the standard because Nicki will have been phased out to where the newer generation won't even know much about Nicki and her music. It'll be like, oh, that's old school music. We don't listen to Nicki. Won't even know much about Nicki. It's this new artist, and then they'll be the blueprint that everybody's like going to. So, I think that's interesting how, people are just like, oh, Nicki is the main blueprint when she took so much inspiration from Lil Kim.
But there is a difference from being inspired and.
But she's like getting 100% of credit from that or for that sound and look. Like, people hardly ever mention Lil Kim. I don't ever hear people mentioning her anymore, which is interesting.
And some people feel like Doechii is copying Nicki Minaj. Now, I do have a theory about this. I think at times Doechii intentionally sounds like Nicki, and it could be that she's being encouraged by her team to do this as a way to create some buzz and maybe a little bit of controversy. And sometimes I get the feeling that it's almost like a bait for Nicki to respond, and I hope Nicki does not fall for it. But overall, I don't really see Doechii as a Nicki copycat. She doesn't have the whole queen diva baddie aesthetic to her. She's more so very quirky, very theatrical, very eccentric. Some people kind of labeled her the Grace Jones of rap, and that's actually a pretty good comparison. Doechii is pretty out there. She does a lot of different things, and she's very talented. So she has her own style, but the Nicki inspiration is very obvious, and honestly, it's bound to happen. Like I said, Nicki has been so dominant in the music industry that at this point it's really impossible to not see anybody inspired by her. So Doechii is definitely inspired, please believe, but I don't want her to mimic her influences too much because people are going to bring those comparisons up, and that's not something she needs. But I do think she'll go far. I think she's very, very, very talented, very versatile, very entertaining. Like, she does check all the boxes of what a superstar should be. So yeah, she's doing her thing. Now, moving on, let's talk about Coco Jones. Coco is dropping her debut album, Why Not More, and she recently dropped a new single called Taste, which actually samples Britney Spears' song Toxic. Now, in my personal opinion, I have to say I do kind of like the song, y'all. Even though Coco was getting ate up online about it, I personally like it. Now, as far as the video is concerned, I wish it was a bit more polished, and I wasn't really a fan.
I don't think it deserved her getting ate up over. That's kind of wild.
And of the overly sexual.
I mean, spoiler alert, it's not my cup of tea. But, I already said how I feel about it in detail over on Patreon. But I don't think it's that bad to where people need to drag her over it.
Dancing, because it just didn't look seamless. It felt a bit forced, and I could tell that Coco was definitely out of her element doing this, and there's no harm with her experimenting, but I kind of prefer the more quiet sultriness, the quiet sensuality that she showcased in some of her other videos. I really liked her video, Here We Go. I thought that was a great video, and it showcased her dance moves without her looking a little all over the place and awkward. As far as the song is concerned, I actually like it. However, some people do not. And I was looking at some of the reactions. Someone said, I wish they would have did this sample a little bit different. Pitch it down or something. She sounds amazing though. Industry songwriters are getting lazier and lazier. Her voice is too good to be on this song. Nobody likes this song. Meanwhile, I don't think it's too bad. It's the choral that's off for me. Why they make Britney sound like Cher? This wasn't a good use of a sample. Just sounds off. Who the heck did she let sing the sample? I hate the video.
All right, child. I don't need to see all that damn comments.
This ridiculous. You're gonna kind of once that is up.
How many comments you gonna read, impressive?
Some of what Coco Jones was trying to pull off did remind me of something that Normani has done in the past. But Normani is a natural dancer, so her movements come across a lot smoother. But Coco, on the other hand, has different strengths. Now, she can dance, but I don't think she should be throwing it up in the air like that. Like, that's not Coco's vibe. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to beat her up over it. I mean, she's trying something new. She's obviously trying to find herself as an artist right now. So she's experimenting.
Yeah, showing those clips of Normani and then going back to Coco is night and day. Night and day. No shade. But yeah, when Normani does it, it's very natural and smooth, and Coco does come across a bit awkward and all over the place.
But I will say what Coco has done in the past has worked. So I don't want her to drift away too far from that. I don't want her to be listening to people in her ear telling her to sex things up. Everybody doesn't have to be a sex kitty.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I
That's
agree.
kind of the box that the industry likes to put a lot of black women in. And Coco is not that type of artist. And I don't want her to feel the pressure of succumbing to that image either. But anyways, tell what you all think about this.
I agree. Impressive was spitting on this video. I agree with pretty much everything she said. Yeah, Coco, she's not my type of artist at all. But, you know, some people really enjoy her. But, yeah, this new direction she's going in seems a bit awkward. So there's that. Doechii, yeah, I mean, she's inspired by Kendrick, Nicki, Lauryn Hill, Missy, like all these different people. There's nothing wrong with that because she, you know, makes into her own sound, and there's just that. So that's my opinion on the whole situation. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next time. Bye!